going on, everyone? Vince the Lawn Engineer here. So in the Northeast, it's the end of February, the snow is starting to melt, and before we know it, the spring will be here. It's exciting to know that the lawn care season is right around the corner. My plan for the start of the season is to control weeds before they even have a chance to take over. So in this video, I want to discuss the use of pre-emergents, the different types, when to apply, and why we apply them, so you can have a better understanding and be prepared when your season starts. So stay tuned. So what is a pre-emergent? Well, to put it as simply as I can, a pre-emergent herbicide interrupts the seed's ability to root into the soil and emerge into a plant. Hence its name, pre-emergent. It does not kill the seed. It just provides a barrier that prevents the seed from rooting into the soil. The opposite of a pre-emergent herbicide will be something like a post-emergent herbicide. A post-emergent herbicide kills the plants that have already emerged or grown. So there are a few types of pre-emergents that we use in lawn care to achieve pre-emergent control. They are the herbicides that contain the active ingredients Prodiamine and Dithiopyr. These products are also branded as Barricade and Dimension respectively. You can get these both in a liquid and granular form. I'll leave some links in the description below to a few options for you. Now, let's talk about Prodiamine first, because that's what I'll be using this year. A few reasons why you might want to use a product like Prodiamine is that it is relatively cheap when you consider its low use rate. And it can also provide up to 9 months of control when using the highest application rate. And that length of control means you can apply Prodiamine early on in the season and have control all season long. Another thing that Prodiamine is excellent at controlling is crabgrass, but it's limited on the other types of weeds it will control. Here's a list of weeds that Prodiamine will control. The other active ingredient to consider is Dithiopyr. The nice thing about Dithiopyr that is different from Prodiamine is that you can also get early post-emergent control for the early stages of crabgrass. Now, just know that in order to get that post-emergent control, you need to use a liquid form only, and you need to use the highest application rate. Another great thing about Dithiopyr is that it can prevent many more weeds from emerging when compared to Prodiamine, including a variety of broadleaf weeds. Here's a list of weeds that Dithiopyr will control. Now, there are a few downsides of Dithiopyr. One of them is that it's very expensive. 1 gallon can set you back almost $250. Another thing is that the duration of control is less than Prodiamine, at about 3 to 4 months of control, as opposed to 9 months with the Prodiamine. Another thing is that you may have to reapply Dithiopyr if you have a rainy season or a long duration rainstorm or a heavy rainfall event. That's because the Dithiopyr leaches into the soil with water more so than Prodiamine. In either case, when applying pre-emergents, it's important to water them immediately so it can soak into the soil and create that weed preventative barrier. The timing of applying pre-emergents is also important. The goal is to get the product down before weed seeds have a chance to even germinate. For me, I monitor soil temperatures and make sure to get the product down early in the season. Crabgrass will germinate at 55 degrees, so I'll take a digital thermometer and start monitoring the soil just as we're coming out of winter. And once I see 50 degrees, that's when I know I need to apply my pre-emergent. Typically that puts me right around late March or early April. One year, I had to apply in late February since it was so warm. If you do plan to overseed, make sure you read the label to determine the appropriate application rate for the duration of control that you need for pre-emergent. I typically overseed in the fall, so I only apply enough pre-emergent to get me through August. That way, I'm ready to overseed in September. And since Prodiamine breaks down when exposed to direct sunlight, I'll mow the lawn a bit lower a week or two before aeration and overseed to make sure that the soil is exposed to that sunlight and that the sunlight can do its job in breaking down the Prodiamine. Dithiopyr leaches into the soil with water, so if you were to overseed and you were using Dithiopyr, then you would have to irrigate a lot leading up to your aeration and overseed to make sure that the Dithiopyr is gone. Now that's about all I have to say about Prodiamine and Dithiopyr. However, I do want to talk about one more product that's reserved for cool season lawns, and that's Tenacity, or what's more generically known as mesotrione. Tenacity is great because it provides pre-emergent and post-emergent control. However, I find it most useful for one thing and one thing only, and that's to use it as a pre-emergent when doing an overseed or seeding from bare ground. And that's what makes Tenacity so unique. It will prevent the weed seeds from growing, but it will allow the turf grass to germinate and establish roots. The control doesn't last long. It only lasts about 4 to 6 weeks, but can give you a good amount of control to allow your new turf to establish. Once the new turf has established, you can then come back with an application of something like Dithiopyr to continue that pre-emergent control and still get some limited post-emergent control of any early stages of crabgrass that may have popped up on you. Tenacity's post-emergent control is good, however, it's a very slow kill and can bleach your lawn for up to a month. So I generally recommend Tenacity for seeding applications only. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for joining.